back to my channel. Here in this channel we'll talk about relaxed hair growth tips, protective styling, and so much more concerning the hair topic in general. So if you know you're interested in this type of content, consider subscribing to join the family. So in today's video I'm going to be sharing with you guys the difference between hair growth and length retention. You know, I've heard so many people say, like for example, after they get to a growth plateau, that their hair isn't growing, they've used all the products in the world, they've done all the protective styles, they've done everything humanly possible to grow their hair, but their hair isn't growing. Now, there is a difference between hair growth and length retention. What you are experiencing at that point is a growth plateau, which comes from you not seeing length retention, not from your hair not growing. Because the fact is, your hair always grows. Whether you neglect your hair or not, whether you decide to use products on your hair or not, whether you decide to protective style or not, your hair always grows. Except, for example, you have a medical condition like alopecia and all that, but outside that, your hair always grows. Now, what exactly does hair growth means? Hair growth literally means hair growth. The entire process or cycle your hair goes through before it finally sheds off, and this is known as the hair growth cycle. There are three phases: the anagen, the telogen, and the catagen. And I already talked about this in another video in detail, where I talked about what each stage represents, how many inches of hair you are expected to see in each stage, how long each stage lasts. So you can check out that video if you have not already. So when you watch that video, you find out that naturally a hair strand is capable of growing to your hip and even possibly to your knee before it sheds off. And different strands are in different phases of the cycle. So all of them are going to go through these different phases at different time intervals. So naturally, hair growth starts from the scalp. Hair growth occurs at the scalp. Now, length retention on the other end occurs at the ends of your hair, at the tips of your hair. Now, you could have a positive length retention, a negative length retention, and let's say a neutral length retention. In a positive length retention, this is when you see that your hair is thriving, your hair is growing, like some of us will say. This is when you see that your hair length is progressing. What length retention simply entails is comparing the rate at which your hair is breaking with the rate at which your hair is growing. So using a simple equation, which I'm going to put on the screen, length retention is equal to growth rate minus breakage rate, or growth rate is equal to the inches you got from growth minus the inches you lost to breakage. So if the rate at which your hair grows, or if the inches you gained from hair growth is more than the rate at which your hair is breaking or the inches you lost to breakage, you have a positive length retention, and this is where you see that your hair thrives. Now, if the rate at which your hair breaks is equal to the rate at which your hair grows, in this type of scenario you have a neutral length retention. Now, when this happens, this is when you get what is called a growth plateau. You feel your hair is not growing, you feel your hair has grown to its maximum potential, your hair is simply breaking at the same rate at which your hair is growing. Now, on the other hand, if your rate of breakage is more than your rate of hair growth, you are going to have a negative length retention. In this case, you see that with every routine you carry out, with every regimen, with every hair care, with every protective style, your hair reduces in length. Now, there's a difference between shedding and breakage. Shedding is a natural process and is a natural part of the hair growth cycle, and this is actually the last phase of the hair growth cycle, which is the telogen, when your hair sheds off. Breakage, on the other hand, is what is caused by stress on the hair. It could be physical stress in the form of over manipulation, tight protective styles, combing your hair every day, roughly detangling your hair. When your ends are not protected and they are exposed to the environment, they rub on the wall, on the chair when you sit down, they rub on your clothes and all that. That is a physical stress. Or it could be in the form of a chemical stress, like when you over process your hair, like using relaxers, improper use of dyes and all those. That is a chemical stress on the hair. Or you can have an emotional stress. This could be due to hormones or conditions like pregnancy, childbirth and all that. So different stress factors lead to breakage. Now, this is not a natural process, and this is where you can actually control, because you can control the physical aspect of the stress, you can also control the chemical factors of the stress. And even though you cannot entirely control the chemical factor, there are things you can do to limit the breakage you are going to lose. For example, when you are pregnant or when you just finish giving birth, and you can actually do things like taking more care of your hair, paying more attention to your hair to actually limit the breakage you were supposed to get during this period. But hair growth, on the other hand, you have no control over this. Your hair growth rate is going to be the same. It's genetics. Whatever you do, each hair strand on your head is going to go through the natural phase from the anagen to the telogen and to the catagen, and then sheds off. So this you have no control over. So where you actually have control over is length retention, not hair growth. So basically, hair growth occurs at the root, length retention occurs at the tips. And since you cannot control hair growth, which occurs at the root, but can only control length retention, which occurs at the ends, if you want to see a positive length retention, all you have to do is take a very good care of your ends. Always pay attention to your ends, make sure they are protected, make sure you are gentle on them, because they are actually the weakest and oldest part of your hair. If, for example, you've been on a hair journey for 3 years, it means the ends of your hair are possibly 3 years old. So what is popularly known as hair growth is length retention. And if you noticed, most of us YouTubers, we know this, but in our thumbnails, in our titles, we use things like why your hair isn't growing, things to make your hair grow faster, because this is what the majority knows as length retention. People are more likely to search for why my hair isn't growing than why am I not seeing length retention. So hair growth and length retention are two different things, but from the equation I gave earlier, which is length retention equals to hair growth minus breakage, you can kind of say hair growth is a component of length retention in a way, because without hair growth, obviously you won't see length retention, but there will always be hair growth. So if you can tackle the breakage part of the equation to reduce it to the barest minimum, you actually see a positive length retention. So if you are currently watching this video and this is your first time of hearing that length retention and hair growth are actually different, please make sure to leave that in the comment section down below, because me myself, I didn't know there was a length retention. I always used hair growth before, like when I was still in secondary school, till I started my hair journey, researched about hair care, and actually found out that hair growth and length retention are different. So I was actually guilty of this as well. And if you watched this video to this point and you enjoyed it, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the post notification bell so that you'll be the first to get notified whenever I upload a new video. So yeah guys, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in my next video. Bye.